for me, some of the biggest tracks on the record, I feel that speak to me the most. Thursday Morning's a big one for me. It's kind of something that I wrote for my dad. When he watches this, he's gonna probably ask me, like, what's it about? But yeah, I won't go into that too much. But Thursday Morning's a big one for me, and Midair is another one that Midair's pretty much basically a story of me going into myself musically. I experimented a lot with drugs and a lot with music at that time. I got heavily involved in electronic music in my late, well, maybe 17, 18, 19, 20. I was raving a lot, going to warehouse parties and stuff. I had a full setup at home, had some samplers and some Groovebox gear, and I went into myself musically, and with the substance abuse, I was living in kind of like a dream state.
For me, I mean, I would say a track that means a lot to me. Every track means a lot to me. It's like they're all my babies, you know.
Yeah.
You love all of them equally. For me, what's important always is how an album starts. And Frost sets the tone perfectly, both aesthetically of how this is going to feel as an experience, both simplistically in composition, and at the same time, when we decided to keep Brent's like, kind of like,
Might start singing when the bass comes in.
which was, it's so like, fuck the rules, we're doing this, we don't care.
Yeah.
And that sets the entire tone, in so many different dimensions as a first song, and it's so powerful to me. I could talk about every single track at length,
yeah.
Definitely, but it's, again, my approach to musically is much more abstract than life experiences that you
Yeah.
pulled out. That's a bit more tangible, you know?
Yeah, of course. The creative process was sick. We'd set out just to do. We had zero expectations of writing a record. Like we just wanted to throw a few ideas around. We wanted to get into a deep focus. We just wanted to do something we'd never done before. I'd always dreamed about doing it. I remember my old bandmates wanting to spend a weekend away and just write music and just jam out and stuff like that. So getting a hold of the chalet and having no reception and going there for, 5-6 days and just being completely connected to the songwriting process was such an amazing experience. And I remember Varti being inside in the morning, and like in some instances, and I'd be outside, I'd be sanding or painting, and I'd have the pen and paper with me, and I was listening to what he was creating, and I'd be like, I'd just get inspired. I wouldn't be able to fully hear the context of it, but I'd get inspired by that. I'd get inspired, and I was in my zone. My work for me has always been a zone thing, so I'd get involved in it, and I'd have a pen and paper and I'd write some lyrics, and then I'd go in and go, "You finished yet?" "No, not yet." And I'd go out there and continue to work, continue to write. "I've got something. You finished yet?" "No, not yet." And then bang, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good to go." And then I'd go inside, and then we'd record. Most of it was one take, mate.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
vocally.
Nothing was comped, so everything was like, the line was sang or the section was, and that's it.
It was such a liberating experience as well, because we were there to do nothing else but write music. I mean, I was there to work a little bit, but it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
And
it's good because you're the type that you need to do something and you could focus when you're doing something. So
Yeah.
it was subliminal focus versus like, hey, let's sit down and write lyrics. And sometimes when you kind of force that experiences, maybe it wouldn't be as beautiful as it was, because it happened in the moment of whatever you're doing. And that was interesting because I kind of could think back and say, like, I believe it was on Wednesday night that we wrote An Answer Waiting. I think it was for An Answer Waiting, where I remember we did a small daytime barbecue. We had a dinner, and we're like, you know what, let's go back in and write another song. And I was feeling anxious, and I didn't feel like it. And I was like, I told myself, every time I feel like this, I write an amazing song or write the best stuff, and I say no, I'm gonna push myself, and it's not pleasant when you're anxious to have to think to come up and create something new, and that's the best time to create something because
100%.
that is so you, right? It's the way you are. As much as you try to push away that unfavorable feeling or that awful feeling, that's who you are at that moment, and you're writing music based on that feeling, and every single decision of the chord progressions, the notes, the sound design, the harmonies in the song. And I want to write it fast because I know Brent's an hour after Brent's gonna say I got an idea. I want the track to kind of be like at a shape where it's singable on. So yeah, that's so I remember like moments like that in the creative process where I really didn't feel like it. I'm a morning person. In the morning, nothing shakes me. I can do everything. At night, it's like the world starts weighing on me, right? So a lot of that was just, we're here to capture the moment, and that's so key here, you know, not dicking around and overthinking stuff. Just, what am I feeling? What am I gonna do? Do it. Yeah. Boom, the song's out. Whatever you're feeling, there's no judgment, there's no second guessing, like, oh, is he gonna think that the words I'm using aren't and I've always told you, like, just lay it out, man. I don't care, just lay it out. Next thing you know, it's like, I love it the way it is. In what way we go against the grain in the industry, the expectations of the industry with regard to the music we write is, I would say, just again, when we write what we want to write, this is what comes out, right? So it's not that we want to get signed to a particular label, therefore we got to sound a certain way. We don't follow that route at all. And I've struggled a lot with this as a producer in my older project, where I started writing dance music, and you know, there's that formula to follow, or else DJs are not going to mix your track. If you don't follow this formula, this label, this XYZ or whatever label, any random label, whoever you're aiming for is not going to sign, because A, it's not the sound they're looking for, or you need that 1 minute intro, that 1 minute outro. I kind of got sick of the dance vibe and the expectations and everything else. I mean, there are expectations of all types of music, but overall, that was my set of experiences with dance music. And I said, when I walk in HOKI, I'm going to do what I want. And if people don't like it, that's fine. If the industry has issues with it, that's fine. We're happy with it, and that's what matters. Our goal was that the biggest achievement for us as producers, right, was to write a timeless album. And that's how we feel about the albums we've done so far. Looking back 10 years from now, what's important to us is to listen to that music and still be moved by it.
Yeah.
That's by far the most important thing for us as artists. And we know that's not what the industry expects to hear from artists, because it's all about monetizing. It's all about what's in. And what's in is always you and how you give it out to the world, you know? And for us, this is what's in, and that's what matters.
Yeah. For me too, it's just like, it's not perfect. I listen to the vocals sometimes. It's like, we don't overdo it. It's like some of the music that's been put out today, it's very highly processed. There's so much tuning of vocals and reverbs, and we keep it very bare bones, you know, even for a two-piece, like, we keep it so bare bones. Even vocally, yeah.
It's one layer. And, you know, a lot of people like have 17 layers on vocals. We don't do that.
You know, and if you get into the record and you take the time, you will hear that it's not perfect, but it's perfect for us because we captured the moment. And for me, it's about the song.
Yeah.
And I know the people on our team feel that as well. And this is why I feel that we're succeeding in what we do.
Where do we draw the line?